So about 2 weeks ago, I made this video and I mentioned Hwei from League and Invoker from Dota, and said something like this: why would you give me 10 abilities when I can use 4 at a time? It is like they know what Invoker is, but they don't understand why Invoker exists. So I decided in today's video we are going to talk about Invoker and what makes Invoker special and not Hwei. But first, let me explain these characters and how they work. First, let's talk about Invoker. He has 3 orbs that you can select at any time, which gives you passive bonuses. You can only select 3 at a time, don't forget that. Then we have his ultimate ability, Invoke. It combines the elemental ability of the orbs and create a new spell. You can make a total of 10 spells in this way. And now let's talk about Hwei. He has 3 types of spells. His Q gives you access to his damaging abilities, his W gives you access to his support abilities or utilities or whatever you guys want to call it. And then we have his E, which gives you access to his crowd control abilities. Then finally we have his ult. It's basically more AoE damage and slows your enemies. And because this is League, we also have a passive, which deals even more damage if you hit your opponents with multiple spells. Invoker has 2 main abilities that deals good amount of damage, and that's it when it comes to damage. First one is Sunstrike. It has a small AoE but can deal decent damage and is global, so you can use it anywhere on the map. The second damaging ability is Meteor Strike. Summons a giant meteor that lands in front of you that deals damage. But here's the problem: both of these abilities are very hard to land. They have a startup time and Meteor also has an after impact damage. So that's why this game gives you another ability called Tornado, aka your best friend, because you can use this to land most of your major abilities. Pair Tornado with your Sunstrike, or how about using Tornado and Meteor Strike all together so you can land that meteor directly on top of them. But still, this is not enough. So that is why we will also be using an ability called Deafening Blast that sends shockwave and pushes enemy back and disables them. So this is how it works. Use a Tornado, then Meteor, and then Deafening Blast for the maximum damage. But you can also add another ability to this combo called EMP, which drains mana of your enemies. So you start off with Tornado, then EMP, Meteor, and then Deafening Blast. This combo deals damage and makes your enemies powerless. Oh, but don't worry, we're just getting started. One of the biggest appeals for Invoker is that he has a soft counter to a lot of heroes in this game. For example, if you have a Bristleback in your enemy team, then you can use Tornado, EMP, and Ice Wall. This will drain mana and slows down your enemy, which might not look like a big deal, but trust me, your team will take care of the rest. What if Wind Ranger uses Focus Fire on you or your allies? How about using Deafening Blast and Ice Wall? Is Pudge using ult on your teammates? Then use Cold Snap to stun him whenever he gets hit. Annoying Sniper in the enemy team? Use Ghost Walk to go invisible, then use Cold Snap Alacrity to make sure he never picks Sniper ever again. How about using Forge Spirit instead of Alacrity, or maybe both? The possibilities are endless, and this is because of how he was designed. But enough talking about Invoker. Now let's talk about Hwei. His first Q deals damage and is kind of similar to Brand's Q, but main difference is that his Q has a small AoE damage at the end. His second Q ability is an AoE damage. Some people might call it the knockoff version of Sunstrike, but it feels more like a Brand's W ripoff, with just more range. I don't know, it's just way too similar. His third Q ability is an AoE that deals damage to anyone within that AoE. It's more of a floor is lava kind of ability. You understand what I'm saying, right?
No.
His first W gives him movement speed to him and his allies. His second W ability is an AoE that gives a shield to anyone within it. It is kind of same as Echo, similar concept but different execution. And then we have his third W ability, which enhances his auto attack and gives him mana every time he hits someone.
But why?
Listen, I'm not asking questions. Let's keep moving. Next up is his E ability. His first one fears his enemy when you hit them. It's really straightforward. I don't think I need to explain more than that. His second E ability is an AoE which roots the first person who walks into it. And then we have the third E ability which drags enemy towards the center and slows them. I call this one the knockoff version of Set's E, Facebreaker. And finally, we have his ultimate, which deals AoE damage and slows enemy that are caught inside the AoE. Now, let me simplify everything for you, okay? W is your support ability. Whether it's your Q or E, you're using your first ability when you can directly hit your targets. And your second ability are used when you can't hit your target directly. And then finally, the third one is your low damage but big AoE abilities. You won't be able to burst down your enemies, but still, good for a lot of enemies at a time. And you use your ultimate when there are a lot of enemies to deal more damage. Simply put, they made a generic mage champion, gave you 10 abilities so that you can only use 4 at a time. And yes, you heard me right. If you use one of your Q abilities, then your other Q abilities also goes on cooldown. And most of them are just different versions of similar things. Invoker's ability have meaning and has a reason to be in his arsenal. Meteor for damage, Tornado for landing your abilities, EMP for draining mana, Cold Snap for interrupting channels or being annoying, Ice Wall for slowing down enemies, Deafening Blast for disabling carries and push them back, Sunstrike for killing stragglers, Forge Spirit can decrease armor of enemies, and I can go on and on and on about his abilities because all of them have a purpose. It really does feel like you're playing the ultimate mage. Your main objective is to use every spell in your arsenal to gain advantage over your enemies. On the other hand, Hwei feels like an imposter. Riot literally took attributes from other heroes and champions and just copy-pasted them to a new champion. And I'm not even mad about the Invoker part. I just realized how much they have taken from their own champions. And can we talk about his design and how he looks like an NPC rather than a champion? Let's compare him with a character who also has a brush. And now answer me, which one looks better? Hwei's design or Grimstroke's design? Like, I'm genuinely asking you guys. And let me just remind you guys, Hwei was created by a billion-dollar corporation. And Invoker was made by nerds who just liked playing video games. And this is proof that even with all the resources and billions of dollars, these companies can't create something so ambitious that someone who has love and passion for games can create. Because they don't try to create something mediocre or average or try to play it safe. They will go above and beyond and give players one of the best experiences ever, because the only thing they try to create is a masterpiece. And that is the only word that I can use to describe Invoker. A masterpiece. Anyways, this is enough rambling for me today. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comment section. Do you guys agree or disagree, or maybe you guys have your own opinions about it? Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.